there's a lot of stuff that's going on in my life that have brought me to where I am, to where I enjoy ghost hunting. You know, everybody's got their own opinion. It's, you know, and like a movie said, you've got your version, I've got the truth. So I will, till the day I die, believe that ghosts are real. I have seen them. In the paranormal world, you know, my mom passed away on April 23rd. And that week, they called me the week of the 23rd, that Monday, and said, Chris, we just want to let you know your mom's acting weird. And I said, well, why? So, well, your mom's told us that Jesus is coming back to get her, and that she's about to go home, and we all just need to leave her alone. That happened on a Monday. She died on a Friday. Just stuff like that. And, you know, it wasn't instantaneous, but she knew. Something told her. And whether it's, you know, Jesus, a higher power, I'm not trying to get anybody to do any kind of religion or whatever. I'm just saying there is something out there after death. And sometimes it can still communicate with us even after death. You know, in Vicksburg, there's been tons of stories, and this is as you know, a big Civil War town. And Vicksburg is just as haunted as Gettysburg, in my opinion, because you can't go anywhere in town with somebody not telling you a story about something that's happened. Like some of these bed and breakfasts we have around here tell you about Civil War soldiers walking around with amputated legs and whatnot, or you know, just like the cemetery. Somebody was telling me actually that you go in there at a certain time of night and you can hear a piano playing. I mean, that stuff like that interests me. Living in a town like this, you can't not experience something. Everybody in this town has seen or heard something, whether they'll tell you or not. There's been a lot of hauntings in this area. In fact, I lived on Warriors Trail after I moved here. And my stepson and I were lying on separate love seats in the living room. And of course, I didn't have my contacts in at the time. And my wife was downstairs with the other kids. And I woke up and looked at the foot. There was a being, and I say being because it wasn't a person, but it had the person's physique. Looked around the corner at me, but it was like I was looking somebody out of focus. And as soon as it saw me, it ducked back inside. And I went and looked for it. There was nothing there. I've also had toys turn on late at night by themselves. Yeah, I know, we avoided that room. Imagine me staying there by myself. It wasn't pretty. But we've had those turn on. You know, I collect toys. I'm very careful to take batteries out of toys, because I actually have had a robot on my top shelf come down to my bed, fall down, land perfectly on his feet, and walk toward me. And this was when I was a kid, so I've always been into the paranormal. You know, I had a friend of mine and I, in 2019, we went into McRaven here in town. And I'd never been to McRaven, but I've always heard, you know, it's the most haunted place around. We went in, we snapped a couple pictures. First off, my laptop wouldn't work to get the microphone going. It would not work. Finally, we decided to use our phones for microphones, so we'd set our phones down while we were talking. It's just a lot of folks use a lot of technology. I don't like to do that. I like to keep it as simple as possible. If I could go in a place and just use a cassette player, when I say it looks weird, that's what I mean, because a cassette player and a microphone, to me, is perfect. But I didn't have any of that at the time. Because digital stuff, you can edit and manipulate digital all day long, but with like cassette tape, it's real hard to fake that stuff. And I have got some stuff here in Vicksburg that would just scare the mess out of me. We had one voice from Kuhn Hospital, and I have it on my SoundCloud. It said, "Wake up, Captain Reddick." Either Reddick or Reddick. And we looked it up one time, and we found a reference to a Captain Reddick or Reddick here. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a child's voice saying that. My wife and I, we were with our friend David Childers, and he was putting on a ghost investigation at McNutt House, about 9-10 years ago. And he was trying to contact the spirit of David Weeks McGill. And, you know, he did. But Tanya was over there thinking, oh, this is fake, whatever. And her and my stepson were kind of, you know, having a little fun with it. But all of a sudden, I see her just straighten up. And she runs outside. And I go, what happened? Something had ripped her earring out and threw it on the floor. And when we got home, and this is before we had iPhones that would take good pictures and all that. There was a slap on her back of a complete handprint, like something had just slapped her back. And that was probably the most physical that I've seen. But on the funny side of things, I've also got an EVP to where I was in a staircase all alone, and my wife and my son were up on the roof, and over my shoulder, clear as day, you hear the words, "Hey, piggy!" They were making fun of my weight. And and granted, that's not funny, but it is kind of funny, but I thought it was hilarious because it shows me that possibly there's a sense of humor or, jerks in the afterlife. If anybody wants to try to ghost hunt, it's fun, but you see on TV these people going into houses like "I command you to show me who you are. You ain't nothing but a punk." Imagine if I came into your house uninvited. How would you act? Because you're going into their house. You treat them with respect, and 99% of the time, they're going to be respectful back to you. You start going to your house yelling and screaming, "Y'all need to do this and do that because y'all need to show me I came out here to see you." Chances are you're going to see them and it ain't going to be pleasant. If you do things like seances or things like that, first off, make sure you've got somebody with you that knows what they're doing, because you've seen the movies. Movies are pretty accurate as far as things following you home. If you go to a cemetery or something, again, treat them with respect because they were people too. But always, at the end of it, make sure that you say, "You're not allowed to follow me home. I do not give you permission to go with me. And you have to stay here, but I appreciate your time," or how you want to, because basically, they could follow you home if they were so inclined. And I have seen it from ghost hunters time and time again. They'll go home and their lives are not ruined, but very upended by something that followed them home from an investigation. So be very, very careful. Make sure you don't give it permission to follow you. Here locally would be definitely McRaven, the McNutt House, and I would, I don't mean anything by this, but there was a tragedy there, obviously, but before that happened, I would say #1 Kuhn Hospital. And I'm actually kind of eager to see what they build and what happens to that area, because every time I drive by there, I still look to see if I see any people that shouldn't be there walking around, that in my mind are spirits, because I've had a lot of activity there.